In the animal kingdom, intelligence has appeared in many different forms and in many different creatures. And when we talk about smart animals, our minds usually go to familiar examples. We think about primates using sticks and stones as tools, recognizing themselves in mirrors, and solving complex social problems. We think about dolphins and orcas, communicating through unique vocal patterns and coordinating hunts with incredible precision. We think about dogs, animals we live beside every day, constantly surprising us with emotional awareness, memory, and social understanding. Intelligence seems to thrive in mammals, especially those that live in social groups and rely on cooperation to survive. But when scientists began to look beyond mammals, they realized something about this picture was incomplete. One of the smartest animals on Earth does not look like us at all. It is not a mammal. It is a bird, the crow. Crows and the larger corvid family that includes ravens, jays, rooks, and magpies have repeatedly challenged our assumptions about what a bird brain should be capable of. They are playful, curious, and unusually inventive. In the wild, crows have been observed dropping nuts onto roads and waiting for cars to crack them open, then retrieving the food once traffic stops. Some even appear to understand traffic lights, waiting for pedestrians to cross before flying down to collect their prize. They recognize individual human faces and can remember someone who treated them badly for years. And what makes this more unsettling is that they do not keep this knowledge to themselves. They share it with other crows, effectively teaching their community who to avoid. When scientists began testing crow intelligence in controlled experiments, the results went far beyond clever tricks. In one well-known set of tests, crows were presented with a clear tube partially filled with water, with food floating just out of reach. Nearby, there was another tube filled with sand and a selection of small objects. Almost immediately, the crows dropped stones into the water-filled tube, ignoring the sand completely, raising the water level until the food could be reached. In later tests, when given objects that floated and objects that sank, the crows consistently chose the sinking ones. When given two tubes with different water levels, they chose the higher one to reach the reward faster. These choices were not random or learned through repeated failure. They showed an understanding of cause and effect that looked deliberate. Researchers compared the performance of crows in these tasks to that of human children, and the comparison was uncomfortable. In many cases, the problem-solving abilities of crows matched those of children between 5 and 7 years old. In more complex tests, involving hidden connections and counterintuitive setups, the crows struggled, but so did humans. Only older children consistently solved those problems. What made this even more remarkable was that crows were not only using tools, they were making them. When given sticks that were too short to retrieve food, crows combined multiple pieces to create longer tools. Some even built tools made of 3 or 4 connected parts, a level of construction that has been observed almost exclusively in humans and a few great apes. This led researchers to ask a more disturbing question. Could crows plan for the future? Planning requires memory, foresight, and the ability to delay gratification, a skill many animals lack and many humans struggle with. In carefully designed studies, crows were shown puzzle boxes they already knew how to open, each requiring a specific tool. They were then removed from the area and later presented with several objects, only one of which was the correct tool. After choosing, they were forced to wait before being allowed back to the puzzle. The crows not only chose the correct tool, they remembered to bring it with them and used it later to obtain the reward. In another variation, they were offered immediate food or a tool that could unlock a better reward later, and most of the time, the birds chose to wait. Delayed gratification, something that does not reliably appear in humans until early childhood, was happening inside a bird brain. At this point, the obvious question becomes unavoidable. How can a bird do this? Bird brains are small, and they look nothing like mammal brains. Birds do not have a cerebral cortex, the layered structure associated with reasoning, memory, and higher thought in mammals. For decades, this led scientists to assume birds were fundamentally limited. But more recent research revealed something unexpected. The region of the bird brain responsible for advanced processing is wired in a way that mirrors the functional circuitry of the mammalian cortex, even if it looks different on the surface. The structure is compact, but the logic is strikingly similar. Brain size alone also turned out to be misleading. What matters more is brain size relative to body size and the density of neurons packed inside. When scientists began counting neurons, they discovered that some birds, especially crows and parrots, pack an extraordinary number of neurons into very small brains. In some cases, crows have as many neurons as primates with much larger brains. More neurons in a smaller space means faster communication and higher efficiency. In simple terms, crow brains are small, but they are built for speed. Understanding how crows are so intelligent only answers half the mystery. The other half is why. Many birds survive perfectly well without this level of intelligence. So what pushed crows down this path? One leading theory focuses on how they are raised. Unlike many species, young crows spend long periods with their parents. In some species, parents feed their offspring for up to 2 years, during which young birds observe tool use, problem solving, and complex behaviors. This extended learning period allows knowledge to pass from generation to generation. During adolescence, many crows also spend time in loose social groups, forming hierarchies, competing for resources, and learning how to navigate relationships. Crows also interact with other species in ways that feel surprisingly intentional. In some regions, ravens have been observed playing with wolf pups, teasing them, tugging at sticks, and even pulling their tails. Some researchers believe individual ravens may form long-term relationships with specific wolves, allowing them better access to food later. This ability to read, predict, and cooperate with other species adds another layer to their intelligence. As humans learn more about crow intelligence, some have begun wondering whether cooperation is possible. In parts of Europe, experiments have tested training crows to collect trash, such as cigarette butts, in exchange for food. The birds learn quickly, teach others, and adapt faster than expected. Streets become cleaner, and humans benefit from a partnership with an animal that understands patterns, rewards, and goals. The more we study crows, the harder it becomes to see them as simple animals. Their intelligence rivals that of the smartest mammals, despite evolving along a completely different path. And perhaps the most unsettling part is this: crows are still adapting, still learning, still watching us from rooftops and trees, quietly studying a world that was never designed for minds like theirs.